So I'm going to do a demo of assignment 1.7 Lincoln Logs, and we're going to draw the Lincoln Log components, and then we are going to assemble them together like so. Okay, so first I will take a snip of this, and I'll go ahead and paste that in a new AutoCAD file. All right, so I'll go ahead and just paste that anywhere over here, and while I'm at it, I will also do the same thing for the second page. So I'm going to go to my snipping tool, press new, and take a snip of this one here. All right, and so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to create this outside box. So I will go to my rectangle tool and do start at 0, 0. And then the other corner is 10, comma 7.75. There we go. And now I'm just going to move this over. I'll move it over here, and I'm going to scale it to be a little bit smaller. So I'm going to do SC for scale. And so for all the commands, you could just type them in and they will pop up. So I could do SC for scale, or I could just type in the whole word scale. If it was trim, it would be TR, or I could type in trim, circle, etc. So you don't have to press the commands up here in the panels. You could just simply type them in, whatever is easiest for you. So I'm going to do SC for scale and then press spacebar to enter that. And I'm going to select this corner as the base point, and then I'm going to say reference. I'm going to select this line at the bottom, and then it's going to say specify new length and or points. So I'm going to say points, and I'm going to select these 2 points here. So I will say points, and this is going to be the new length of that line that I referenced. So right here and right here. There we go. And then I will just move this over here, and I will scale this using the same method. So SC for scale. I'm going to select this as my base point. So if I were to zoom in and out, it would look like that. And then I'm going to say R, spacebar for reference. Reference length, I'm going to click on one side of this, so these 2 points. And then I'm going to do P for points. And I'm going to select these 2 here. Oops, I meant to select the endpoint, but it doesn't really matter because this is just a photo. This isn't even part of our drawing. So this is just so I can easily see and draw this. Okay, and so I'm going to use my polyline tool, and I'm going to start with this roof portion here. Okay, and actually before I get started with that, let me just double check my snaps. Okay, those look like how I want them. And I can double check my units, inches, okay. And you see these are fractions and this is decimal. That doesn't matter so much. When you dimension things, we can specify how we want those to show. But we're actually not going to dimension this. This is just building these components, and we don't need to dimension them. At least not in this section. So I'll go ahead and do polyline, and I'll just click anywhere in here. And I'm going to start by drawing 1/2 of this. So right here, I know this is 7/8, so I could do 7 and then do the slash sign. So /8. So that's going to get me 7/8 of an inch. And I'm going to go up, it looks like 5/16. Yeah, 5/16. So 5/16. I'm going to go over 3/4, back down 5/16. Oops, 5/16. And then I have the overall length, but I don't have what this midpoint is. I could calculate it, but instead of doing that, I'll go ahead and just escape that, and I'm going to create a construction line. So a construction line is just a line that is used to guide your drawing. So I can go to that endpoint, and if I hover over it, I can create this tracking line that goes down. And if you're not seeing that, try turning on these object snap tracking and make sure your endpoint object snap is on as well. So I'm going to hover over that. I'll just click here into space. And then I'm going to create a line that is 5.5 inches. So I could do 5 dash and then 1/2 for 5.5. There we go. And then I will just escape. And then if I go back into my line or polyline, I can start back at this endpoint, and then I could just hover over this midpoint now and then create a line that is the appropriate length. And the overall height is 5/16 plus 1 5/16. So I'll go ahead and I'll just create it like I see it there. So I'm gonna do one first. It's 5/16. And then I will do another one that is 1-5/16. There we go. And then I can track over this way. And if I hover over both this endpoint, because this endpoint is 5/16 high, and then I want it to be aligned with that, and then aligned with this one too. So I went ahead and let me zoom in a little bit. I'm hovering over, I'm not clicking on it. I'm hovering over this endpoint, and then I'm going to hover over this one, and then now I'm going to track it up, and I'll do it again so I could see if I can see both. There we go. So now I see two tracking vectors, these two green ones, and I can click right there, and that will bring my line to snap to where those tracking vectors tracked to and where they intersected. Okay. So now I have this shape right here. Okay, and let me take a look. I can see that this line is 1/8 offset from the other one, and then I have these gaps that are 3/4 inches apart from these slanted lines. So I will first offset this line 1/8 of an inch, and so I'm going to do offset space and then specify offset distance and say 1/8. And then I'm going to select on this side of the line, not down here, but up here. And then I will escape that command. And now I'm going to just connect these endpoints here for my roof. And then I'm going to either copy or offset. I'll probably offset this line 3/4 of an inch. So I will select this and I will say offset again. And this time the offset will be 3/4. And then I'll select on this side. I could select this again, select on this side, and then one more. And so there's, like I mentioned before, there's many ways to do the same thing in AutoCAD. So I could have just as easily copied this over and then pasted it 3/4 of an inch over and then repeated that command like so. But I chose to do the offset in this case. All right, and so right here, I need to trim that top piece. Notice how it doesn't quite go all the way to the center, so I will go ahead and trim that. So I could do TR for trim, and then I'm just going to trim that little piece right there. And then I need to create the vertical lines that are connected to these ones. So I will do L for line. And then if I want to make sure my lines stay completely straight, right now I'm in polar tracking and that works as well. But ortho mode is going to help me keep my lines perfectly straight because I can't deviate from them being either completely vertical or completely horizontal. So that makes it a little bit easier. So I'll do L for line, and then I'll connect right here. And that looks good. And so now I'm going to take this whole thing. I could do J for join. So J for join. And remember, you could also find that here if you'd like. All right, so J for join. And then that's just going to connect these individual line segments that I created. Not everything will be connected, but a lot of them will be. So I'm going to take this whole thing and then I'm going to mirror it. So I could do MI for mirror, or I can select it up here. And then it's going to ask me to specify the points. And so I'm going to just select these 2 points that can mirror about this line. And I don't actually have to select a point. I could select up here. No, I don't want to erase the source object. As long as I'm creating 2 points and those 2 points are going to make a line. Okay, so now I have my roof. It looks pretty good. You could have just drawn this without mirroring it, of course. So many ways, once again, to do the same thing. And if you want to double check things, you can use this measure tool. This works pretty well for a lot of things, but not necessarily everything. So I can click on measure and then I can kind of hover over things. So right here, I can see this line is 5.5 units. I could hover over this one and it's going to show me certain dimensions. And so it's not given in the same fraction format, but you get the picture. All right, and so now I'm going to create this longer log piece. So the overall length is 7-5/8, so 7 and 5/8 of an inch. And then I'll escape that. So I just created a construction line. And let's see here. Actually, I should start with this smaller one because this is giving me a lot more information. This only gives me the overall length, so I'll keep this here, but then I'm actually going to start back over here. So I will create a line that is I'll create a line that is 1/5/8 of an inch. And then I will go into my line tool again. I'm going to just create this line off to the side, and it's going to be 3/4 of an inch. So I created this line here, and I'm just going to move it. So I'm going to do M for move, I'm gonna grab that midpoint and I'm gonna put it right there. Okay, and then this is 7/16 in width. So I'll do 7/16. I will go down 1/4, so 1/1/4. And then I'm gonna hover over the midpoint and then escape. Okay, so now I have this, and I'm gonna mirror this about this line. No, and then I will grab both of these with my blue selection box so that way I don't grab that middle line. Then I will mirror both of these about the center. So I just clicked on one end and then I'm just going to drag it down and click down. All right, and so now I have this piece right up here. So I can delete this line and I can join everything up. And let's see, I will go ahead and create a construction line that is the same length as that. So I'll do line and then 4-5/8. I'm going to take this and I'm going to copy it. So CO for copy, or you could find it up here. And take this midpoint, I'll put it at the end. And I will copy that over once again, but I'll copy starting from the right side and then I'll put it on this end. And of course I could have mirrored that as well. So once again, many ways to do the same thing. Then I will create a line to connect these two, spacebar to repeat that command, and I'm going to do a line that connects right here. And then I could delete this, and then these ones, I can't just delete it, but I can trim them. So I will do TR for trim. There we go. I'll take this whole thing and join it. And now I will copy this over and put it on this construction line. So I'm going to do CO once more to copy, but I'm going to start from the other side and bring it this way, and then escape. So I can delete this construction line, and then while I'm at it, I will also delete this one. And I'll do TR to trim and trim both of those. So I can highlight everything and I could do J to join, and it's just going to join the things that can join. And actually, while I'm here, I'm going to highlight everything, and because I see that I had some overlapping lines. And then right here. And then I also know that I have some over here. So I'm going to do the overkill command. I'll highlight everything and then go here to the broomstick, or I could type in overkill. And this is going to optimize line segments, and 40 overlapping objects or segments were deleted. So I could highlight everything again and do J for join. And then now that is just one piece. Same with this. All right, so it looks good. And I do like see how these are lined up? I'm gonna go ahead and align them up also because I just want to make it look nicer and everything's spaced out a little bit better within the square. So I'll move things around. I'll highlight this. I'll move it down a little bit. I have ortho mode on, so that's why it's restricting it. I'm gonna turn it off. I'm gonna move this and I'm gonna hover over the endpoint. So that way these are lined up. And if I want, I can line up the ends as well. So that way it just kind of fits a little bit nicer. So I'll do M for move. I still want it to be on track with this one. And I'll do the same thing here. And I could turn back on ortho mode to make it a little bit easier. There we go. Okay, and so now I'm going to go ahead and assemble some of these to make this Lincoln log house. So I will copy this box, so CO to copy. I'll just paste it over here. And then I'll go ahead and start with the roof. So I will copy this one. I just aligned it with the midpoint there. And then I'll just move it up once again. Okay, and then now I'm going to take this section and copy it over. And I want to pick a specific point that I know is going to line up well with this. So if I picked this endpoint, I wouldn't really know where to click it. So instead, I'm going to click this inside endpoint because I see that that is going to line up with this one here. And then I can just keep selecting the endpoint. So let's see, how many do I have? Oh no, actually, let me delete this one because I need a smaller one for this section. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of those. So I'll copy this one, take that inside endpoint, put it here. I'll turn off ortho mode. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Is that right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then I have one more of these on the bottom, but I have to modify it. So like so. Okay, and then I'm just going to move this whole thing up a little bit. I'll restrict it to ortho mode. There we go. Okay, and so now I have some circles in here, and I can create those using the 2-point circle. So now I'm going to specify 2 points. I'm going to specify right here and here. And then I can repeat that again by pressing spacebar. Oops. Here, I'll just click it up here. And I can continue to do the 2-point circle, or I can take these and I can do CO for copy, choose this quadrant, and I can copy them down as well. Okay, and so now I have some trimming to do. So I'll do TR to trim, and I'm going to trim these extra lines that are within the circles. And I'm going to create a line from this midpoint over to this one, and then escape it. I'm just going to double check to make sure that looks right. It does. And then I'm going to once again trim. Right there. So I just trimmed this line and this line, and then now I'm going to take my blue selection box, highlight all that, and delete it. Okay, and so I could could either mirror everything over to reflect on the other side, or I can just mirror part of it over. I'll go ahead and I'll just mirror part of it over. So I'm going to select this circle and then highlight everything here. I'm going to hold down Shift and deselect this one. Just want to avoid doing a lot of rework so that way I can make sure I'm grabbing the right thing. So I'll do MI for mirror and mirror about this. No, and just a little bit of extra trimming. Okay, and then now I have my Lincoln Log House. So I'm going to, I don't really need these, so I could delete them. And I'll go ahead and do overkill again just to make sure it's all optimized, and I'll highlight everything and do J for join. Okay, looks good. And of course I'm going to save it. I should have been saving actually as I've been going through this assignment, but I'll go ahead and save it now. And I'm going to save it in the appropriate folder. For you guys, this could be your W drive, or you could save it to your laptop, USB, whatever is easiest for you. But I think that the W drive is very useful because it has a lot of memory as well. And this was Lincoln Logs. So I'm going to say 1.7 underscore, or actually I'll say Lincoln Logs underscore initials. All right, and so go ahead and submit this assignment as a drawing file.